I got a hat. Got the gritty eyes up here. Got the bill.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Brewer. Here. Trustee Carter. Here. Trustee Grant. Here. Trustee Tate. Here. Trustee Todd. Here. Trustee Zupan. Here.
I'll entertain a motion to recess to executive session. Collective bargaining, board minutes, real estate, employment compensation. Was moved by trustee Grant, second by trustee Tate. All in favor?
You know, it's funny about on the bus, which I call, you could hear him talk. He's talking. Oh, yeah. He just doesn't talk here.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
So instead of
Trustee
15 or
Brewer.
7,
Here.
$6
Trustee Carter.
less.
Trustee Grant. Trustee Tate. Trustee Todd. Here. Trustee Zupan. Here.
Okay, first person presented is Mr. Patrick Sauk. Here. First Communications Phone Service Update.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey,
Would you like me just to go ahead and provide an update, or?
yes, sir.
Okay. Again, appreciate everybody's time, and just wanted to kind of maybe take a step back before I move forward with just providing an update. So as maybe everyone knows, when I initially sat here and went through the solution, we decided to move forward. The village decided to move forward with First Communications. When we came out to visit your locations, we noticed that in dealing with the chief and whatnot, there were a few things that maybe were just not discovered. And in that discovery, we actually redid the solution to accommodate the needs of the village. So to make a long story short, there was a difference between the original paperwork that was signed, or the original order, and the updated order. There was a difference of $77.82. And the reason for that was there was a difference in the phone count, a little bit of a change in the type of phone, the amount of locations, and one of the biggest pieces was for the police station for 14 recording license, which is the ability to record the conversation. As well as there was a few setups that need to be in place for the police station as well, as far as the doors to actually have access with the phone. With that being said, even though these were things that needed to be uncovered when our sales engineer came out on site to do these site surveys, I moved forward and went and got a request and got it approved that First Communications would absorb the $77.82 for the village. The main reason why is because I wanted just to move forward with the right solution for the village, but also too is I know that we're trying to keep costs down. So I went ahead and got that approved as well. And the last thing that needed to be addressed, I believe Jill might have sent that over. Jill Lickwish, who actually works with First Communications, was the updated sheet with the line items that I mentioned on a very high level. There's mention on this sheet in terms of the findings that our sales engineer came out and uncovered. So once that sheet is signed, again, there's no additional dollars that the village has to pay for than what was originally discussed in the beginning. Then, we can move forward. But again, this actually cleans up, so to speak, what we've uncovered to make sure that what we're providing for the village is the right solution that's going to work for the village. So with that being said, again, I can confirm on my side, I'm pretty confident that that email was sent out, but tomorrow in the AM I can have Jill resend it. Okay. But that's a quick overview, but I'm sure there might be some questions, and I'm more than happy to address those.
At first I did until you said before. So when you said, we didn't vote on this before. And I just wanted to make sure when you set up door, so there's no need for us to go back and read.
There's no need, correct. There's no need to go back
But you're saying
and,
that there's going to be some, I guess, is it illegal or whatever that we have to sign a new document? Is it a
no, absolutely not. It's just one form, and all it is really just getting, the line items that discuss the actual phone count, the call recordings, some of these things that were not discussed at the time that you do need are mentioned on this sheet. But again, the dollar amount, there is nothing that needs to be approved or agreed on in terms of additional funds than what was already originally discussed. But that sheet actually is something that we work on, but also something that the village should have as well, just so there is a firm solution, and these are the funds that you're getting, so that way the village as well as First Communications are on the same page.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
You're making it very easy for me.
No, you made it easy when you said I'm cool.
I had a hunch that might have been a topic, so I wanted to get it through. So thank you for everyone's time.
Thank you. Next item is the discussion of the resolution supporting the Class 8 tax incentive.
Good evening, everybody. You should have a copy of the resolution supporting Class 8. And we put together some additional information for the board with respect to the application for the Class 8 in the resolution. As you know, the village sold the property for $1.3 million. This closed a couple weeks ago. The village saved approximately $67,800 in broker fees because the village did not hire a real estate broker to handle the transaction. The building permit fees total about $18,000 we expect. Currently, there are no property taxes generated from the property. The pro forma that was performed for the first 12 and 24 months is displayed there. Approximately the first year, about $201,556 in sales tax revenue and video gaming revenue. For the next 24 months, it goes up to $242,387. Estimating the assessor's property value at $6.9 million. This is based on a comparison that I provided on the back, which is a similar type of business in Sauk. Based on that, with the Class 8, that reduces their assessed value down to $698,710, which will be the same percentage as a residential tax assessment. With the tax incentive of the Class 8, that would bring the property taxes to the village $335,765.05. That money would be new money as it is generating nothing now on the property. Without that Class 8 incentive, the property taxes would be approximately $758,000. So the total amount of annual revenue from the development would be $578,152. The details of what a Class 8 is and how it kind of works are kind of explained there. Basically, for the first 10 years, it's assessed at 10% of the market value. For year 11, it goes to 15%, and for year 12, 20%. After that, it goes up to the 25% level. These are renewable on the 10th year. They can request a renewal for that. We expect between 55 to 70 construction jobs during the construction phase of this project, 18 full-time positions and 20 part-time positions. The project will provide necessary service to the village, including construction of a 12,000 square foot convenience store, restaurant, along with a car wash and motor fueling facility. Its location on 394 will also provide convenience for motorists, trucks passing through the village, and support the industrial developments within the village. The project will create 38 jobs, and preference will be given to the Sauk Village residents first. So I'm asking that the board approve the resolution at our next meeting.
I have a question. This is in TIF, correct?
That's correct.
So, like, within the Class 8, how does that affect our taxing bodies as far as like school district, municipality, the library? Aren't they losing money within the Class 8 or whatever they get their week?
No, it's a very good question. Right now, all the taxing bodies are receiving zero. So, because the village owned the property. Now that the village is sold the property, that money will actually, the new money generated will actually go into the TIF district. Okay, and now that doesn't mean that there's going to be a windfall for the school districts, because it's basically going to be assessed at what it was prior. So they will be getting what they were getting before the village acquired the property, and I believe it was 2004. So, which it'll still be minimal because it was vacant farming from the beginning of time.
But not all of it goes to the TIF. The property taxes go to the TIF. The sales tax and
Right,
gaming
the sales
revenue
tax and all that
go
goes
to
to the village, correct. That doesn't go into the TIF fund. Those aren't TIF funds. The TIF funds would be essentially property tax. Increment.
And so they're kind of being gaming in there as well.
Yes.
The property taxes go back into the TIF, and you can't use those for like 20
We can't hear anybody.
32.
Nobody uses the mic.
You got time limit, like,
They extended
is it?
the time for the TIF, so it's.
Please use the mics.
They've extended the time for the TIFs
Thank you.
to 35 years, so it was extended, yes.
Okay. So the residents won't benefit from putting the money in the TIF for 35 years.
No, the residents will be generating approximately $578,000 in revenue for the village. So, I mean, the village is still going to be generating sales tax revenue and business license revenue off of the project. So the residents will actually realize that benefit when they own it. So
So you would say you get sales tax and what else?
you're going to be getting sales tax revenue, you're going to be getting business license revenue, you're going to be getting gaming revenue, you're going to be getting
Cancer.
revenue that you're not getting now from the project. In addition to that, the village will be receiving the property taxes, which will go into the TIF district. Okay, so the village will have all of that money as opposed to only a portion of that money, because the village tax, whatever the village's tax portion would be, in addition to Cook County and all the other taxing bodies, goes to the village directly.
So they'll get sales tax, do you know how much?
Yeah, it's approximately $201,556 for the first 12 months, and then after that, for the next 24 months, 242, correct, $387, correct.
And the business license is usually
Well, actually, there'll be several businesses you've got going on there. You'll have
So
a gas station. Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be several $1,000s annually, yeah. Not to mention, you know, the license requirements for the gaming machines and everything else. But definitely a good win. You're looking to invest about $10 million into that project, so it's a big win.
You have a question? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rand.
Next item is the ADP. Next item is the ADP. I asked, does anyone have any questions about it? To let me know. I only got a couple of people who actually asked any questions. I did give out a handout, and looking to move forward with this next week on the agenda. If you have any more questions, I'm sure, but I'm looking to put this on the agenda for a vote for next week.
Mr. Mayor, I had sent something over because I wanted to know who did the analysis of what you sent over to us.
You said who did?
Who did the analysis?
You mean the second page? I guess you're talking about the calculation?
The village payroll process analysis, it gives you the payroll cost,
Right.
and it
We
says,
got that from Mohan.
okay, so that's where this came from because I didn't get an answer on it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I do have a couple of things that after reviewing this, that what we're looking at is you want to bring in this ADP to do our payroll system. So what happens to our employee that does the payroll system?
We got a lot of things.
Am I concerned? Okay, this is what I'm asking. Now, with ADP, I know of a company that has them. And there's an issue, the employee has an issue since January with ADP and can get nowhere with them. My concern with having this company, and it's a big company, if there's issues, how's it going to get resolved? I also had a business that I went into that had ADP. They canceled them. Now, I remember the young lady saying, we have no contract, you can cancel at any time. So this business owner canceled them. 2 months later, ADP was taking money out of their account. And when he called them on it, they wanted money to do amendments so they won't take money out of his account. I have concerns about this company. A couple of things. When I'm looking at this and they're saying there's expensive financial errors, who submits to our accounts payable for them to input whether if our employees are on vacation, they take a 6 day, who is responsible for keeping track of all of that?
That's what I'm saying. You asked them what they're going to do. You're still going to have employees they have to enter. They still have to enter the information.
Well, then why would we have ADP?
ADP is going to...
If we have employees that are going to, if we have an employee that's going to enter the information,
Okay.
like right now they entered in and they use the Civic system, which is their software that they're using. And I'm reading this where it said there were expensive financial errors and that money was owed like to 5 of our public works employees. And I'm going to assume it had to do with it says the proper calculations of vacation. Who right now submits the stuff to accounts payable?
Okay, you're saying, what you're talking about, it says expensive financial errors that were created by the village.
Right, so at this point, I mean, what we're looking at, your department head submit something every week or bi-weekly or however they do it for them to input, for our accounts payable to input it into the system.
This is not accounts payable, this is just payroll.
Well, I'm just saying payroll, we'll just say payroll, and I apologize. To me, it was accounts payable.
Now, what is?
But with our payroll system,
Yes.
who gives the information to Mike? Because he goes in there and I'm sure does payroll.
But everything is submitted to him
From who?
from the different departments.
Okay, so when it comes, okay, so they're submitting it.
Yes.
Now, this error with the vacation, who keeps track of vacations and sick
It was
days?
supposed to be done through our system, I guess, civic or probably manual.
Because that's what you want to find out. Is there an issue with Civic?
Well,
Because it's a software.
I couldn't find that out. That's why I tried to find out, because the issue that we had, I was trying to find out was it from, and then I found out it was email.
I mean, that's what we want to look at. If there's a software issue, you know, that's what I'm asking. And I wanted to know who submitted this. So if the department heads are submitting this information, I needed to know who's keeping track of the vacation, sick pay, they take a day off. That's what I needed to know. And we do have 47 people?
We have 47 people that are getting a check regularly. We have more than that, because we got paid on call. So if you work that week or whatever, paid on call financially, yes, you get that. But if you didn't know, you won't.
So
We have 47 that constantly, yes.
Okay.
So the question that I had that I didn't see an answer back on was asking for a breakdown of the ADP expense. The second page had provided the breakdown, as I think you and I talked about, of what I believe Mohan felt it was to run the payroll bi-weekly, but there was no breakdown of the ADP costs. And I had asked for that. I didn't see that.
What do you mean the ADP cost?
The $292.66, I had asked for how that was broken down, because that really should show so many hours of that one employee equating to X number of dollars, how much the ADP cost was going to break out so that I could work backwards from what the ADP annual cost was going to be versus per payroll charge. And I didn't get that.
Okay.
The other thing I was going to comment was, whoever had done the calculations, and you're saying it's Mohan, I would argue that the cost is slightly higher than what he has listed here, because he's going off of bi-weekly payroll, which when we end up counting out, you actually have 26 payrolls a year, not 24, which means your cost is actually a little bit higher, north of $1,500, not the $1,432 that's listed on this sheet.
In other words, how much we actually pay right now.
We're actually paying a little bit more per payroll, yeah.
Okay. And then I guess that was in regard to ADP, how much it would be broken down to, with just one employee doing the entry.
I have a comment. On here, I'm sorry. On here, you indicated, whoever indicated that the bi-weekly payroll with 2 employees, that's supposed to be for full-time? And then you have 3 employees, 1 full-time and 2 part-time listed on the 3rd page?
Where did you see?
See on the
I see the second page.
is this
You
the
said
second?
third page.
The second page.
Second page, you
Yeah.
said 3, where do you see 3 employees?
It says employee 1, $37.03, the second employee $24.73, and then you have a third line for $24.73 at 4 hours instead of 10 hours. I understand. So we're talking about, excuse me, Mrs. Mayor. You're describing 3 different employees here on the second page, and then on the first page you have bi-weekly payroll for 2 employees. So are the 2 employees full-time on the first page, I'm looking at in red, and then the third person is a part-time employee.
The first one for 1,400 would be 2 employees.
Full-time,
Yeah.
okay.
Now, I don't know what your, as far as the second page, 1 employee at 3703, and that would be, that's just an estimate. For 10 hours, which would be $370. That would be that they would spend that much time if they were getting paid 3703. If they were getting paid 2473 at 10 hours, that's how much that would cost for them to do payroll month. And if they were getting paid 2473 for 4 hours, if it only was 4 hours worth of work being done, which is what basically when you have ADP, that's probably where it will be at, and that's at $197, $194, sorry.
Okay, so the actual, we don't have the actual cost of the employee who's actually doing the work right now. We don't know how much they're being paid an hour.
What'd you say?
The employee that does the payroll now, do we know how much they're being paid an hour?
I think, like I said, the full-time employees at 37.
I'm asking you, what does Mike get paid now?
Mr. Mayor, may I jump in?
No, hold on. Yeah, no. A full-time employee would get paid $37.37 an hour.
From ADP,
No,
from you?
from what we pay, the village pays. For 10 hours worth of work, twice a month. Okay, to do payroll. If that employee, if it was a part-time employee, they would, 10 hours a week, twice a month would be $494. If we use that same analogy and only 4 hours, which is what it would be for ADP, it would only be $197 a month. But that's all the time you need with the ADP system.
I understand that, but I'm asking, what is the actual cost that we're paying the people now?
We're at the first page, it says right now, the expenses, and it just stated, it's gonna be a little higher because it's only for 24 weeks instead of 26, it's $1,400 a month. Times 26 months. I'm sorry, 26 weeks.
So we didn't actually use the figure that actually, what they didn't pay now.
We did, it's here, that's what I'm saying, this is what this is what the person, the employee would be. It says two full-time employees dedicate 8 to 10 hours to complete the bi-weekly payroll, that's what we do now.
Mr. Mayor, you keep saying would be, I'm saying what is it now?
That's what it is now.
Okay, that's what I mean, yes. And down here, the, says payroll, and we generally, 47 people are generally here all the time, but we actually pay 75. And this includes 70.
I don't know
I
where you
got
got,
75 out of the budget.
I don't know where you got 75.
I got 75 out of the 2018-19 budget. We
75
got
what?
75 people on board. They said it was part-time, whatever. So
Oh.
actually, so we're gonna be actually doing payroll for 75 people. They didn't come in.
Trustee Todd asked me that just now, and I said to her, 47 is what we pay regularly. We have paid on call. If we have a fire, we got the fire department is paid on call. ESA is paid on call. So if they have to come out during the week or whatever, that particular pay period is going to quite naturally be more people on payroll. Part-timers are paid. If it's not at the part-time time that we have part-timers, if it's after their time that they're not here, that's also. So at any time, it could be less than 74 people. So I can't go by, I do go by 47. We do know that there's 47 people that get paid on a regular basis.
Okay. Now, has anybody talked to Civic about addressing the issues like the errors in the vacation pay? Did anybody talk to Civic about, we have problems here and we need you guys to address that, or can you address it?
What is that about this? I'm trying to figure out what that do with ADP. Because Civic is a different Civic only reacts to what we put in. If we enter the data, then Civic calculates it. But it has to be put in, like I say, if it's a human error, then, Civic is only going by what you put in there.
Again, I'm gonna ask the question, has Civic been addressed and asked them, can they give us the same ADP, the services ADP intends on?
No, I didn't ask Civic for ADP.
Okay, and also, is the people who provide the services for payroll, did you let them know that there were issues and that they might need more training, and who's gonna train them if ADP comes on board?
I don't understand the question. People that
They're actually doing payroll.
Okay, that's
Because
employees, that's employees.
ADP's gonna train them.
Yes.
Okay, so, my question was, since you didn't address civics about what's going on, they could have rectified the problem. I know there are two different entities and stuff, so that we never addressed civics about anything. I understand civics is software, and this is an actual, payroll company, but I have heard so many nightmares, like, stories about, ADP and the kind of service they provide. And I was wondering, is it cheaper for us to just go back and talk to civics and say we need this and we need that, some kind of cost comparison, or that they could do it or something like that?
Civic is the software company that we use. If we get ADP, we still will be going through Civic. So asking Civic could they do whatever is not a question. If we made the error, Civic is only going by what was entered into the system. They calculate from that point. ADP is there so we can try to take out as much human error as possible. And we need to upgrade and update our system here.
We could train the employees for update on software. You said you want to eliminate as much human error as possible. We couldn't train the employees to do that.
I don't understand the question because it's not a matter of training employees. If we don't have a system in place to do this, then you can get whatever, but we take it away. I'm trying to take away as much human error as possible. That's like this is that way.
And what is do we have any liability associated with the union because we're actually, I don't know if we're taking
What
away
does the union have to do?
Wait a minute.
What does the union have to do with ADP? I'm asking you that. What does the union have to do with upgrading software in the village?
Again, I'm going to ask, do we have any liability when it comes to the union in this particular position, payroll position? Yes or no answer?
I don't know. I don't understand the question as far as liability. What liability do we have with the union in regards to any personnel?
I answered that.
I don't understand the question. What liability will we have? We didn't tell the union that we were getting ready to put automatic lights in. But we did. Why
Is
would
it
the
payroll
union?
a union job?
Is
Is
payroll?
it, yeah.
A lot of jobs
jobs.
that are done in the village are union jobs, yeah.
So, will we have any legal liability?
What liability will we have?
I don't know, that's why I'm
I'm
asking
telling you
you.
now, there is no legal
Well, that's
liability.
what I'm here to say.
Any other questions?
This will be on the agenda for next week too.
Next one, recommendation of the variance sign, ordinance unification, unified development code. There was a meeting last week with, our zoning commission, and they, met with the representatives from District 168 in regards to, they wanted a sign in front of Wagner School, and, they asked about, I asked them to go to our zoning board, and the zoning board is going to come and give us their recommendation, what they feel, the direction. I'm just cautioning everybody that this will be the first time that you actually got something from the zoning board. The zoning board is put together so they can recommend that we go one way or the other. It's not saying that what they say is law, but why have the zoning board involved if you don't, at least listen to the recommendation. So basically, you're going to recommend what steps we should take with this particular sign. And the sign is at Wagner School, which is on 215th Street. So everyone should know where Wagner is at, and they want to put a sign. The informational sign. This is Mr. Child Pondexter, zoning board commissioner, director.
Good board, Mayor. The zoning board met Wednesday, August 1st. Okay. The zoning board met Wednesday, August 1st to approve the variance for the two signs at Wagner School. As you can see from the minutes taken here, that it was approved by the board. And all we're waiting for is a letter, a certified letter that should have been passed out to the residents in 250 feet of the school. So we'd like to take this to the village board on August 28th. By that time, we should have the certified receipts back.
So what you're asking is in other words, you're saying you recommend that we move forward with this, that you find any problems with the sign.
Yes.
And we have to, well, they have to
The petitioner.
put it out there in the newspaper.
Well, it was put in the newspaper, but like I said, the third paragraph here, the petition has made or will make notice of fiat certified U.S. mail return receipt requested to all property taxpayers for 200 feet of the property.
So basically, we have until that, which will be on the agenda, that'll be the fourth Tuesday of this month, to ratify, to go forward with that.
Yes. We should have the receipt back, hopefully, before that.
The receipt showing that it was done. Any questions? Thank you, Ms. Conlon.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item, renewal of the cash reserve policy.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, trustees, my apologies for getting these documents to you a little late. It's not something that should be voted on next week, as you give you time to just, review it and discuss it. So, first up is the cash reserve policy. It's something that we do not currently have in place at the moment in time, or have we had one in recent time, just due to lack of funds. So, together working with the committee, Mohan and the treasurer, we put together a cash reserve fund based on the money that we received from the sale of the money. And so basically what we kind of did is we went through each fund, general fund, fire and foreign fire, motor fuel tax, and so on and so forth. And we established a percentage of the money that we budgeted for that fund that we would keep in a reserve within that fund, just due to for expenses or whatever the case may be, just so we never get to a point where we have to go borrow from the water fund or borrow unnecessarily. So long story short, long term, we would like to get to this little snapshot there on the second page. We would like to get to a point where we can have 40%, up to 40% of the fund, and up to 50% another, and summer funds. But as of right now, as a start, just to get our feet wet, if we can get 10% in most of the funds, except for the general fund, which we try to shoot for 8.5%. So if you take that number, pretty much it's the 8.5%, 10%, 25%, so on and so forth, and times that by the net number for the budget, we would like to have saved in reserve $808,000 over the course of this fiscal year for 2018 2019 in the cash reserve. So basically, it kind of, if you go through each kind of bullet point at the top, it kind of spells it out for you of the percentage we would like to have and would like to get to. It's kind of pretty straightforward. This is a good chance, if we do have the money, that we can actually put something aside for a rainy day. So we can welcome your feedback, questions, concerns, and we can talk about it at the next committee meeting, and then we can vote on it if possible the following Tuesday after that. Any questions there? On the cash reserve? Well, I mean, look at All right. Next up is the cybersecurity policy. The reason why my committee worked on this one is because when we did the audit for Miller and Cooper, this was one of it wasn't a deficiency or material weakness, but however, it was a suggestion. Nowadays, we see more and more cybersecurity threats, news, and all around. And so before it can get to a point where it is on audit as a deficiency for next year or so, we kind of want to nip it in the bud as soon as possible. So kind of took a stab at putting together a policy for the village. It kind of recommended us pretty much how, who's in charge of what and what kind of access each type of employee will have, just how to handle classified information, just basic things such as making sure your login, your password are pretty much standard to being secure as possible. It kind of goes through hacks, responsibilities. It's a pretty lengthy, but also a very detailed policy. And again, I kind of recommend your questions, concerns, and feedback on this as well. And if you would like to see any changes made, please let me know. It kind of just lays out as far as connecting USBs, which could contain viruses or anything like that. So let me know if there's anything that you like, don't like. We can definitely talk about it and review it again at the next committee meeting. Any questions on this one?
Have you run this past Gerald just to get some feedback from him? Curiosity?
I have not run this past Gerald.
You might have some suggestions for
Sure.
to add
Mhm.
I'm just glancing over this,
Why isn't anybody using the microphone?
just glancing at this. On page 2, you indicate that the mayor is required to review and approve the classification of information. Now, this is something you might run by Gerald Graham. Suppose the mayor is sick or something like that, or who has the second line of defense for us to, you know what I mean? I know Gerald can probably get in there, you know, he's involved with it, but, and where does the, address the trustees' access to information that we might need? I mean, this would cut back on a lot of FOIA requests that I can see. But we need to be included in having our, you know, having access to information. Just from page 2.
No,
Yeah.
totally agree with you. So the mayor, he's not here or is out, whatever the case may be. I'm sure he will have somebody that he recommends that can step in his absence. Of course, Gerald would have total access as he is an IT consultant. And as far as trustees' access goes, I don't see why we wouldn't have access to certain information as we do now. Nothing really will change in that aspect.
Say that part again.
So I don't see why we won't have the same information that we have access to now. I don't see that changing.
Oh, we don't have access to it. Okay, go on.
That's fine.
Mm.
But that was pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, I just last thing about.
No, totally. No, honestly. Yeah, that's all that
I do have a question. You know, you had presented us with the real thick finance and all. Is this in addition to that?
So that was a part of that. That was one of the ones that said we posted to the website. So this will fall under this technically, yes.
Okay, so are you working on the other where the suggestions were made?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, so
I just want to know what I'm looking
I
at.
didn't bring that one tonight. I think that was already too much to go through all three. That will be coming again. So.
Okay, thanks.
Is that it?
That's it.
Next item, we're going to switch around. The next one will be public comment. All questions and comments will be directed to the mayor. Each speaker may comment on any matter pertaining to the business of Sauk Village. Each speaker is allowed one opportunity to speak up to 3 minutes and may not engage in debate or counter discussion. Can you come to the mic, please? State your name.
Judy Pastor. I asked you a question last week, and I didn't like the answer, so I'm going right back at it, so I can get the all the angles on what I have to say. I've asked over and over about the HR lady and her pay, and you told me that she did not start getting paid by the village and the Owens Group together. I beg to differ with you. I have invoices that indicate she was getting 2 checks, one for the HR lady and one for the police contract. And that's exactly what you said at the meeting when I asked for it quite some time ago. And I'm still asking how many hours she's putting in. The accounts payable shows her over the 17 hours. Some of her time is on one page, some of her time was on another page, and it still adds up to more. Now you're talking about wanting to curb the money and get the money spending down, yet we're giving people who never had any responsibility with the municipality in their life, and they come in here and get top dollar. That does not make sense to me. We're also going to talk about the treasurer. The treasurer is not bonded. You said she could be bonded through our village insurance, which might be a possibility, but then again, it might not be a possibility. You just had a check for over $1 million that was given to the village. The village insurance would not cover her for over $1 million per the Owens Group. And I would like to know why she's not bonded when you required that the other treasurer be bonded. Again, talking about money and wanting to save money, you saw fit to give this lady more than double her yearly salary when she is another one that never worked for a municipality in her life. She didn't know the job, and yet you gave her a big raise. And the sad part is you took the raise from another employee, which is against the state statute, and we're still working on that one.
I will answer the last one as far as the bonded, and I think there is information I thought that I did mention that indemnification and bonded is the same thing. Now they call it indemnified. Back in the day, they called it bonded. So if you're indemnified with the insurance, it's the same thing. So that part, I said that last week or last time you mentioned it, I'll say it again, that is the same. And the check I got, I didn't give it to the treasurer, I gave it to Mr. Mohan. But it's been deposited, and I have proof where it's located. Yes, ma'am.
Linda Washington, I'm here to talk about the ordinance that, in regard to employees being on social media, and if they're on social media and writing on Facebook, that they're supposed to be terminated or be dealt with in some kind of way, to find out what the board decided to do in regard to employees that have been documented to be on Facebook. I can only talk about myself, although there are hundreds and several people that have been subject to this behavior by the employees and by allegedly the mayor's family. I have been personally attacked on Facebook. I don't know if you know, Mayor Burgess, that there is a serious war, cyber war going on with your employees and with your wife, allegedly Juanita Burgess, that's up on Facebook. They started a whole Facebook page with my name on it, Linda and Renee Murphy. I printed all of this out. I've already given it to people that need to know. Last time I put it in all of you all mailboxes to show you who was writing what and what their names was traced to be, their email addresses. All of that can be traced and verified who the writers of these pages are. Now, number one, I am a licensed ordained minister, whether you recognize it or not. And when people are writing about my character and going all through my Facebook pages, taking my personal videos, putting it up on a mailer page, Linda Renee Murphy, saying that I'm a scam artist because I asked for tag days to raise money to put back to school book bags in these parents' hands in Sauk Village. I told the board, because I don't play games, but I'm a grown woman, that I'm going to let these parents know all of the obstruction that you've done to stop me from making that happen. I've had this program done for 3 years, and now Joe Wizzawazi and your wife, Juanita Burgess, are on Facebook writing about Linda Renee Murphy. Are you aware of all this that's going on? It's a real big war. People all outside of Sauk Village are getting involved in it. It's out of my hands. I'm not going to be able to control it. Your family is upset. My family is upset. Your friends are upset. All of my friends are upset. They are going through my Facebook. This is my brother. This is my pastor. Asking them to be their friends, and they're going on there seeing negative things that they're writing about me, and they don't like it. It's going to be a bigger mess than this. The trustees asked you all a month ago, what are you going to do about employees on Facebook?
1 minute.
And you've done nothing about it, so now it's all out of hand. So now everybody got family, everybody got friends, everybody know a lot of crazy people. So I'm here as a resident asking you, what are you going to do to stop it? The time when they're posting all of this stuff is on here, pictures, me up on my video, up on my church, saying my pastor, I would have showed it to my whole church. They're like, this is insane. Go and talk to the mayor about it. So I want it in the minutes and on these videos that's being recorded tonight about you need to check people around you. I sat by you for 4 years, and I'm going to say this, you could be a pretty decent person when you want to be, but the people that's surrounding you is what's making your mayorship hell. And I am Linda Washington. I just wanted to document it.
August the 1st, I saw a posting about a new policy that you've implemented, or the village has implemented. This is regarding the home inspections. The individual that is doing this new job, has he had a criminal background history done on this individual? If he is going to be a home inspector, that means he's going to be out and about the village and the homes where there may be children. This individual needs to have a criminal history background done. And again, that social media policy needs to be addressed. There was a posting on that fake page telling one of the former residents, and I quote, "Why don't you have a heart attack and die?" That was the posting on that page.
Demonic.
It's ridiculous.
Demonic. That's what I said.
In regard to your question about the home inspector, he is licensed with the state of Illinois. And he's already been bonded. Not bonded, I'm sorry, I'm not using that word. He has insurance.
Nathan Griffin. Goodness, I didn't know it was gonna sound that. My question is, man, I'd like to know, why has the neighborhood watch been disbanded? Because I think that was a very, very good thing to have in the village. Because all of us, none of us know when there's going to be a holdup, robbery, or any kind of crime committed. And I think you and the chief need to sit down and really discuss this, because this is a serious matter. And I think the neighborhood watch was doing quite a job. Now, regardless of the situation of how we might feel towards each other, I don't have anything to do with that. The village must go on. The only way that we're going to have peace and justice, we got to work together. And it seemed when they disbanded that, because several incidents that happened during the time that the neighborhood watch was in circulation, the people got caught doing wrong. So I think it's very, and a criminal doesn't have no certain house or a certain person to rob. Thank you.
Good evening, Mary Wilkerson. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and trustees. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and trustees. I came tonight to come to meetings for other reasons, but I'd like to speak about an open house for a clinic for the Southland communities, and that will be open in August. And the grand opening is August the 10th. I'd like to invite the mayor out along with the trustees to come out for the Riverdale clinic. It's called the Sunrise Clinical Health Services in Riverdale, 502 West 138th Street. And what I'd like to do is have permission to give these out tonight after the meeting.
Yes, you do. Thank you. Thank you.
Frank, I would like to make a kind of piggyback on what Mr. Griffin is talking about. People feel safe. When a person feels safe, they can live in a place comfortable. When neighborhood watch was going on, people in certain blocks felt safer because they was able to get people calling the police about things that didn't seem right and unusual. So when the mayor and the chief of police both don't like the neighborhood watch, they say their job is to fight crime. But if somebody sees somebody getting robbed and they don't call you, then what? How can you find a crime when it's not reported?
In regards to neighborhood watch and equating it to crime, I mean, crime is going to be committed with neighborhood watch stop crime. Nobody knows. Nobody knows if neighborhood watch itself will stop crime. Will it make it safer? Nobody knows that. Crime is crime. But if a neighbor sees something, why would they wait on neighborhood watch? Suppose neighborhood watch is not there to witness something going on. What do? Call neighborhood watch and tell them to call 911 to tell them that a crime is committed? If you see something in your neighborhood that's not right, that's when you call 911, not waiting on a neighborhood or somebody else to do it for you. If you see something wrong in your neighborhood, you should get on the phone at that time. Now, if you make that phone call and you don't get a response, then yes, you let me know what happened, what time it was, and I will find out who was on duty and why that call wasn't answered or why it wasn't addressed. But to say neighborhood watch, Mr. Howard, I'm not going to go back. I'm just answering what you said and what Mr. Griffin was saying. That's all I was trying to answer. I was trying to answer the question that if you see something wrong, waiting on neighborhood watch to, suppose they're not there when something happens. You think that they're going to, you're going to wait for that person? If you see something wrong in your neighborhood, on your block, or you drive by and see something, make that phone. Will neighborhood watch stop that crime from happening? They're like, the police can't stop crime, no one won't. But if the neighbors get together and watch their own block, why would you need neighborhood watch to come up and down the street? Because if they're not there, just like the police, if the police is not there, sir, what do? You're going to still call them. Pardon me?
That's what neighborhood watch is. Neighbors watching each other's house.
Then you don't need neighborhood watch. You need neighbors to watch out for each other. You wouldn't need a neighborhood watch group to walk up and down the street, sir, is what I'm saying. If you would talk, if the neighbors would talk, you talk to your neighbors. Who? I walk up and down my street all the time. Okay. Like I said, we're not going to go back and forth, but I'm just making the statement that neighborhood watch itself is not going to stop crime. Just like the police is not going to stop crime. They deter it.
But why do we have police? You said they're not going to stop crime. I know that. They cannot. You said you didn't want us to debate, so I can't just really go into it.
After the meeting is over, Mr. Griffin, I will have no be more than happy.
A lot of questions I can bring to you.
After the meeting's over, Mr. Griffin, I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. No problem. But we're not going to go back and forth with the dialogue because if I allow you to do it, somebody else can do the same thing. So all I'm saying is I'm trying to be fair. I will address it with you one-on-one or whatever after the meeting is over, but you go back and forth now. And then if I tell another person that they can't do it, but I allowed you to do it, now what am I doing? Okay. Comments from the Board of Trustees. I'll start with Bernice Brewer. Trustee Brewer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a couple of old businesses that I'd like to discuss. We brought to you ordinance 14006 regarding social media, and we never did talk about it, so I'd like to know when we're going to go back and revisit that. The issue is ordinance 14006 and Sauk Village employees. We need to talk about what's going on there. I also would like to know what's the status of the foyer officer. Are we getting a new one? Do we have one? Or what's going on with that? And the third thing I want to talk about is we requested a letter from the attorney addressing operational transfers. What the treasurer sent us was her opinion, and she said she talked to them, but I would like something from the attorney that addressed operational transfers, and we haven't gotten that yet. Also, I would like to know where's the $1.3 million deposited in what line item? And has anything been dispersed from the 1.3 million? And what plans do you have for the 1.3 million, or what's coming up for the 1.3 million that we just got for the silver property? And the last thing I'd like you to address is the lake. I got an email from the contractor from Lake Plumbing, and he sent a lot of state statutes and conflict of interest and all that sort of stuff. I'd like to know what's your take or what happened with that, because I wasn't aware until I got the memo from the letter from the Lake Plumbing. We didn't know about this, so.
About what is it about? I'm trying to
The elimination of the contractors list. And
the elimination of the what?
Contractors list.
There is no elimination of the contractors list. Where did you get that from?
I got it from the.
That's not true.
Okay, well, I'm asking you about it.
I just stated that's
okay.
not true.
So this person that's coming on board, and he's a home inspector, he's going to take over doing an inspection of the property.
It's a company.
It's a company.
Yes.
So
Several
companies.
Just more than just one, yes.
So we do have the contractors list.
Yes, we've always had contractors.
And then we're gonna have these home inspectors included with the.
They're not contractors, they're home inspectors.
Well, we're gonna have the home inspectors included with the contractors list?
Homeowners, home inspectors, contractors, they're not the same.
Again, I'm gonna ask, are we gonna have a list of home inspectors? Are we gonna have a list? Is that?
We have home inspectors that are doing the work, now inspecting the home. Contractors come in and actually do the work. And then the home inspectors come in and inspect your home to make sure that you're up to code, so you're not up to code, but up to par, so you can get your license, you get your occupancy permit.
So we're gonna have a home inspector to do.
Home inspection, in order to get your list, in order to get your occupancy permit, you have to go through the home inspectors now.
So we didn't have, so the contractors list that we had before, weren't they doing this like plumbing, electrical, all that sort of stuff? They were doing that.
Work, yes, and you have to have a license to do work in the village, yes. They're doing the work, they're not doing any inspection. They were, some of them were trying to, and we were having problems with that, so. But we still have a contractor list of people that are registered with the village and have a license to work in the village. That's what they are on that list for contractors.
So once you get a contractor, you can't get an occupancy occupancy certificate. You have to use a home inspector in order to get an occupancy certificate.
You have to have your home inspector in order to get an occupancy certificate, yes.
Okay. All right, so, there's no conflict there, right?
Pardon me?
There's no conflict there?
Why would there be conflict? Because the person that's doing the work is not the home inspector. They don't do any work.
The home inspector generally costs $300 or $400 to do a
That's
home
what-
inspection.
That's what you have to pay for, and that's been like that for a while.
For a while?
Yes. You have to pay.
The home inspector been doing this in the village for a while?
What other question do you have? I'm not going to keep, this is over and over and over, the same thing over and over again. What other question do you have? As far as the 4 years,
So you couldn't answer the question?
I did answer
The next question that I have is that,
don't say I didn't answer.
what's the status of the warrior officer?
If you're going to be like that, I'm not going to answer.
Well, you just, you know,
I'm not
you
gonna-
trying to
I'm not
dismiss
gonna go
Mr.
back
Mayor.
and forth with
You don't
I
have to go
stated-
back. I asked you a question,
I'm not gonna
and
go
you
back.
didn't answer it.
I did answer your question.
I'm trying to get not only clarity for me,
I
but
answered your
for others. Okay,
question,
we can move on. What's the status of the warrior officer?
I'm still the officer. I don't have one yet.
Okay, what's the status of the ordinance 14006?
I told you before, that is, there's nothing in there that states, I'm sorry, the particular person did not violate that particular ordinance.
Did you tell us that? Did you let us know?
You gave me several FOIAs that are sitting on my desk right now that you haven't picked up. In those FOIAs, the answer to your questions was there.
I never asked about 14006.
Yes, you did.
I didn't ask.
Yes,
for
you
14
did.
Okay, all right, Mr. Mayor.
Don't say you did. Yes, you did, because I got the answer on my desk. Why didn't you ask me about picking up the FOIA that you had?
Because I'm not going to your office to be intimidated and harassed.
You won't get it.
Okay, I want my request sent via
I'm not
email
gonna
or
do
in
that.
my mailbox.
If I have to gather.
And why am I the only trustee that have to come to your office to get information?
Trustee Todd comes to my office.
Well, that's trustee Todd, maybe she
So
feels
don't say
safe,
you
I
don't
don't.
say you're the only trustee. You're not.
Maybe she does, but I don't.
Okay, well then, I'm not gonna email anything. I told you before, I'm not gonna send.
Well,
out
okay,
email.
you and the attorney general will discuss that night. But then my next question is addressing the operational transfer. We asked for something from the attorneys, and we haven't gotten it yet.
You got anything else? That it?
No, I'm still
I'm
waiting
not
on the
gonna sit
$1.3
here and be
million.
interrogated. I'm not gonna sit here and do that. I try to answer the question. You keep going back in the debate. I'm not gonna do that. So, you got anything else?
What about the $1.3 million?
I said that, I told you that there is record of where the money's at. We have not spent, did you vote on anything yet?
I'm asking what plans do you have for spending the money?
Trustee, Grant just got through trying to explain to you about some of the things we're trying to do with that. It was in what he was talking about. If you listen to some of the money that he was going to use and where we were gonna put it, that's in his plan. He just explained it to you when he talked about the cash reserve. That's in his plan. He just brought that up. That was about that. That's what it was about.
Oh, did he recall, did he say $1.3 million you're going to use some of this for the plans, your different plans that you mentioned there?
Anything else? Is that it?
No, I'm asking,
I'm trying to say, he explained what?
you gave us.
Why is it every week that you have to try to get a grandstand, answer the same question over and over and over again and expect a different answer?
Ms.
I
Mayor,
don't understand.
you're the
You
only
asked-
one that's
you
grandstand.
asked- I'm
It is my job to ask questions. That's what I was
No, you're
elected
debating.
for.
You're not
Okay.
asking, you're debating.
Well, then you don't supposed to be in debate. It's supposed to be debate between
No,
trustees.
because I
You're only
get-
supposed
I
to
get-
facilitate a meeting.
You asked me a question.
Well, then you didn't answer it. Just say, I don't know. Trustee Grant did not mention the $1.3 million. If I'm grandstanding, it must be me and you both.
Are you through?
The last question I have is about the treasurer. You mentioned last week that we have $1 million policy that covers everybody in the village. The word
I
was,
didn't say that. I did not say that. I have $1 million policy to cover everybody in the village.
elected officials
That's
and
not what you
officers.
said.
Okay, what did you say
Okay,
last
what?
week?
Pardon me?
Can you reiterate what you stated last week?
Every week, I have to reiterate. The indemnification is for anyone that handles the money, which would be the treasurer or the finance director, that would be indemnified with $1 million insurance policy. I stated earlier that I used to call it a bond, now it's called an indemnified insurance policy.
So where can I find that in writing?
I'm sure you can go to the treasurer, the finance director's office, I'm sure you can show it to you.
I'm finished.
Trustee Trustee Zupan.
Thank you. For those who are interested, National Night Out is tomorrow night from 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock out back at the Memorial Park behind here. We will have the fire department will be doing their controlled burn. We will have the police department doing a K-9 demo. We will have several village businesses and vendors who provide services to some of the residents also on site. We also will be selling some food and drinks that will benefit Shop with a Cop later this fall season for the local kids. We'll be starting to set up at 5:30-ish, and we're hoping that the rain will be past us by that point. The food and the early arrivers from a vendor/business perspective will get the tables under the pavilion. The ones who are later will be outside at the other picnic tables. But we hope to see as many residents as willing to come out. And I will also mention to Mr. Harvey and Mr. Griffin that, the police chief will be there and would be happy to have conversations with you both tomorrow night as well regarding community policing versus neighborhood watch. So please do come out and search him out, find him. He'll be happy to talk to you both. And then I'm going to change gears and I'm going to jump on the bandwagon because every week I sit here and I bite my tongue. Trustee Grant did talk about the 1.3 and this document that he shared with us, albeit late today. We didn't receive it until late today. He did acknowledge that and apologize to us all for that. But he did say that his goal would be to use about $800,000 of the $1.3 million towards these reserves. Changing gears, when we were talking about the Class 8 earlier, the Economic Development Director did talk about what revenues would be generated by the new company going into the property that we just sold. So I feel like if maybe you would pay a little bit closer attention to when things are being said, that we wouldn't have to rehash everything over and over and over again. When I'm pointing something out to you, I'm trying to be helpful. I'm not trying to be mean or anything more than trying to be helpful, because what you're asking has already been discussed. That's all I have. Thank you.
Since Zupan has directed some questions to me, you know
I didn't direct any questions.
Gee,
I didn't
it's
say
your
it.
line, your comment to me. Yes, it is. No, she's not going to sit up there. We know that you're not an elected official. So anything that openly comes out of your mouth sounds like the mayor's words. So when you're an elected official, you have to address this stuff. Not everything that comes out your mouth is the mayor's words. Okay? Then I got my way to deal with stuff. You need to call him out. You don't need to stir it. The mayor's opinion comes out of your mouth. Yes, you do. And you don't need to open your mouth either. Whoa.
Trustee Grant, please go ahead. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So Trustee Brewer, your 1.3 comment, so that was the sale of the land for 1.3. How I come up with $808,000 is, so we took $250 off for the impact fees. Do you remember the impact fees?
Yeah.
So it led you to about 1.1. And then it's my understanding that the mayor will have some discretion on some much needed repairs that infrastructure repairs. So I'm not sure what all they include, but I know he did allocate some money for that. So the remaining 808 will be for the cash reserve.
Well, see, you answered my question. How was the 1.3?
We're not going to go back and forth. You just got to be talking about it. We're not going back.
Is that going to be paid back?
We're not going back and
ask
forth.
trustees upon that.
We're not going to go back and forth. Trustee, is that it? You have anything? Trustee Todd?
The Ordinance Review Committee will meet on August 13th at 6:30 p.m. here at the Village Hall. We're always looking for volunteers that want to join the committee. So that is on Monday, August 13th, 6:30 p.m. That ends my report.
Mr. Carter?
Mr. Mayor, at this time, indeed, I have nothing.
I don't, as far as only thing I can say is, I'm hoping that we're gonna have a corner dog roast, and I'm looking for volunteers to come out to help with the distribution of the corn and the hot dogs and other things that we have. So if you'd like to sign up for that, please, I'll have a sign-up sheet tonight and any other time. You want to come up to the village hall, we have sign-up sheets up there. You get involved to help with the corn and dog roast in the event we have every year. I'm hoping that I can get all of the trustees that are here to get involved in helping with the corn and dog roast, which is an annual event. So I just wanted to make that statement, and just want to say I ask for a motion to adjourn. It was moved by trustee Grant, second by trustee Tate. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. Good night.